Hello and welcome to Wildcard from MUNPR, coming to you not live from our studio in number 218 HSS Tower, straight to your ears. I'm your host, Caleb Lantz, and this is the first in our series of interviews with candidates for First Year Outreach Co-Ordinator. The First Year Outreach Co-Ordinator serves as a representative for first-year members of the club on the executive board, works with the membership chair to plan events, and helps keep first-year members active and involved in the club. Anyone who is in their first or second semester of the club can run or vote for FYOC. You just need to have paid your club dues and any outstanding travel fees by election night, November 20th. A current list of declared candidates for FYOC can be found in the description of this video, as well as all the other FYOC interview videos. MUNPR has reached out to every candidate to schedule an interview, and at the time of this recording, we have scheduled or recorded interviews with 5 of the 9 remaining candidates at the time of this recording. Without any further ado, my guest today is making his first bid for leadership in the club since joining 3 months ago. Jonah Lehmann is a first year from Nashville, Tennessee, served as a crisis staffer for the Hurrah Committee at 10-2 in September, and he will be serving as a crisis director for the Hurricane Katrina Committee at Volmont 11 in the spring. Jonah has traveled to Air Monk 6 and Archmont 3 with the club and was an enthusiastic, if quickly eliminated, participant in Spoons 10 this semester, won by yours truly. Jonah, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Of course. All right, so right into the first question. What inspired you to run for FYOC?
Well, first off, I've been doing MUN for a long time. I started in middle school with an online conference, and so it's always been something really near and dear to my heart. And when I first joined, I was really blown away by just how inviting and welcoming and encouraging this particular group was. It's something I haven't really seen, and it's something I really want to expand and encourage and help grow.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so the First Year Outreach Coordinator is meant to be the primary representative for first-year members of the club on the executive board. With such a large cadre of first-year members of the club, I counted this morning off the unmods. This might be an undercount, but at least 14 of them. How do you plan to make sure all of their voices are heard?
Yeah, well, the number one thing I want to focus on is making exec incredibly approachable. I don't think it's necessarily bad, but I definitely think we can improve. And the best way I want to do that is basically create an open door policy where I intend to be someone where you could message me on GroupMe, text me, walk up to me anytime if you have an idea or suggestion or complaint. And I guarantee you that every single person who comes up to me, every single idea I get, I will bring up with the rest of exec, whether that's through the group chats, whether that's through the meetings. I want to make sure every idea and every person is heard.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. All right, so on to our round one personal question. This is in the memories category. Left, middle, or right?
Let's do left.
Left. All right. When is the first time you remember being proud of yourself?
Ooh. I won't say it's the absolute first, but it's definitely the first that I can distinctly remember, and it is MUN theme, so. Is I feel like I'm not great at a lot of things, especially naturally. And I remember I went to YMCA's MUN my freshman year. And I had no clue what was going on. And I remember going up and asking, I don't even remember what it was, something about like illegal fishing. And I went up and asked a question, and it's like, you say there's no data here, and I point out like a major gap in their data. And I was like, all right. And then I got a message from our advisor. It's like, that was really impressive. And it was something about like, oh, I'm like actually okay at this. That I really am like really proud of. Like, I actually did this thing.
Yeah, for sure. That first moment of when you feel like you've cooked at a MUN committee, it's always, you never forget. All right. So what is the central message of your campaign for FYOC?
I would say approachability and efficiency. I want to make the exec team action-oriented. I want to help push through actual reform. And more importantly, I want to make sure that's done in a way where every single person, especially our first years, especially our general body, are able to be heard and considered. Because I think there's a lot of ideas and a lot of really awesome people I've spoken to who are not associated in exec or leadership in any way, who I really want to help bring on and invite their ideas into being seriously considered.
Yeah, for sure. Just a lot of people on exec. There have been a lot of people in this club in the past who've not been on exec who have been hugely instrumental in the success of this club.
Yeah.
All right. So historically, UTK-MUN always brings in a pretty large crop of first-year members who usually slowly atrophy over the years. I did the math this morning, and off the top of my head, of the 21st years that I came into the club with, only 5 of us were still active members at the end of our undergrad. The classes of 2026, 27, and 28 have seen similar rates of loss. How would you address this problem and ensure that the class of 2029 stays involved with the club?
Yeah, well, I think there's really twofold. And first off, with actual retainment, is I think creating a both welcoming environment, which I think we've done a really good job at, but creating an organized, welcoming environment where we know what we're doing. I know historically in the past couple of years there's been a lot of shenanigans, which I think has definitely contributed to that. I know specifically hearing from like Tristan and stuff, people have been genuinely put off in the past because of shenanigans. I think we have the start of a lot of really passionate first years and sophomores which are coming up to be able to take leadership. So I think just generally creating that environment where it's like we're not just hating each other, we're all working toward the common goal, we're working to make ourselves more clear, more organized, and generally just helping invite people in this more structured.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to our second personal question. This is in the insights category. Left, middle, or right?
Let's do middle.
Middle, all right. What failure have you learned the most from?
Let's do flip.
Oh, flip. Okay. I think Nathaniel flipped this one on me in his interview. So I do actually have an answer to this one, unlike every other time I've been flipped. Relatedly, as you mentioned, there's been some shenanigans in this club in the past. At the end of my junior year, there was a whole debacle with that election, and there was those who were in the club at the time may remember the infamous Monday practice ambush meeting, and that was a massive personal failure on my part that I still think about fairly often, and I think that's definitely shaped who I am and where I am today.
I think probably during COVID, when we first went online, and I was like, oh, this is great, because I'm generally someone who does not feel school was a bit of a drag, especially in middle and high school. And so I was like, this is great. I get to work at my own pace. I'm able to guide myself. I failed horribly. The fact that I did not flunk all of my classes in 2020 is a feat. And I was incredibly sobered by that, just because I always thought of myself as someone who was just naturally talented and could just coast through and get straight A's, and having to actually struggle just to keep a D, which entirely my fault. I did not do anything, but it definitely forced me to actually review, and even into my freshman year of high school, I was still really struggling, and I failed a few classes, and just trying to be like, you have to put effort in things sometimes, and so it's definitely something I had to work on.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consolation, I'm sure you're not the only one whose academic performance suffered during COVID. All right. Question 7. So, as you know, our elections are conducted on a ranked choice voting basis. So, of your 8 opponents, Wyatt Finn, Jazzlyn Horner, Elizabeth and William Kitts, Brenna Loudon, Ava Oldham, Mason Rucker, and Brooke Wilson, who will you be ranking 2nd and 3rd on your ballot?
That's a good question. I have not thought about this seriously, because I don't exactly know what everyone's campaign is.
That's what these interviews are for.
Yeah, I definitely think Brenna would be a good candidate. I really do think Brooke has a lot of energy, and that I think would be very good to encourage in this club. But yet again, I am a platform-based vote. I'm actually a single-issue voter on milk access. So whoever will guarantee free and fast milk.
Yeah, perhaps the milk and the bingo parties can form some kind of fusion coalition here. All right. So the position of FYOC has traditionally been seen as the first rung on the ladder of elected office in the club. Of the 6 FYOCs that I know, 4 of them went on to serve on exec in another position the following year. After your term concludes in November 2026, do you plan to pursue further office in the club, whether elected or appointed?
Absolutely. It depends entirely on what the club needs and what those conditions look like, but I have absolutely considered things like secretary, maybe president. I want to be vice president. I don't know if I'm a good enough delegate yet to really be able to trust myself to train, but I definitely want to help out this club. I think I have a lot of skills, particularly in the organization planning type realm, which I want to help out with.
Yeah. Well, you got 4 years to train,
Yeah.
and Nathaniel is a great vice president, so you've got a great one to learn from there. All right, moving on to our final question here. Beliefs, left, middle, or right?
Let's go right.
Right. Has your idea of what it means to be a good person changed?
Absolutely, it changes every day. I actually grapple with this a lot. Because I think about well, is this ethical? Should I I think classic thing is when is murder justified is something that I probably think about too much, honestly. But originally I was well, I think any form of extrajudicial killing is inherently wrong, no matter what. And it's
yeah,
where's the line there? And so I absolutely think about that every day. And I don't know the answer. It is absolutely a case-by-case basis. There are things where I used to swear against, no, that's inherently unethical, and be well, what's the context? I think it's all about whether you're actually trying to help other people.
Yeah, unfortunately, the world is a lot grayer than a lot of people want to acknowledge. Well, congratulations, Jonah. You've won Wild Card. For your prize, we're going to end the episode the same way we do every time, with a trip in our memory time machine. Now, the memory time machine is very simple. All you have to do is close your eyes. Now, and ignore the very loud noise outside of our studio. Now, think of a moment in your life. It's not a moment you want to forget or change anything about, just somewhere you'd like to linger a little longer. What moment do you choose?
I thought about this a lot because I did listen to some of the NPR or MUNPRs, and I think it's incredibly simple, incredibly basic, but it last spring, my second block medical assistant class in high school, we did not have a teacher. She left a month into class, so we didn't do anything for most of the year, so it was just a 3 period. And 3 of my best friends were in that class, and so it turned into just an hour of yapping and hanging out, and it's so simplistic, but I'd love to just sit there for a minute and not have to do with anything and just talk about dumb stuff.
Yeah, no, that's great. I had a very similar class my freshman year of high school. It was also a health science class, and it was just me and a couple of my friends talking the whole time. All right, well, before we go, Jonah, you've got the next 45 seconds to speak directly to the voters and say whatever you want. The floor is yours.
I think this club has been incredibly welcoming. I am a weirdo who is a little insane sometimes, and a lot of people don't like me, but the fact that I came in here and I always feel welcome, and I want to encourage that. I think we have something amazing roots here, and I think by helping organize, by helping reach out to more people, by showing people what MUN really is, and by creating a culture where everyone feels accepted, everyone feels heard, we can really create the best MUN club on the circuit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, that does it for this episode of Wild Card from MUNPR. Thank you so much to Jonah for coming on to do this interview with us. As a reminder, the FYOC election is Thursday, November 20th at 7:15 p.m. sharp in Student Union Room 169. WBA is required for all candidates, and candidates and voters must have cleared any money owed to the club in order to qualify. Stay tuned to our channel over the next few days for the rest of our FYOC interviews and the last few exec interviews, and I will see you Thursday.
Vote early and vote often.
Vote early, vote often.